All right, here's the best way I've been able to figure out how to learn the notes on the strings of the guitar. First thing we want to know is the open strings of the guitar. That's very, very helpful in the very beginning of guitar especially. And we use the saying, Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. Each of those letters is the notes as you go down. Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. E-A-D-G-B-E. Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. The other thing, the next step, is just knowing the two starting distances in music. One's called a half step, and that's just going from one note to the next. So that's a half step. Now, the open string, if I say go a half step up from that, it's the first fret. So if I was playing that note and I said go a half step down, you go like that. So you've got half steps, one fret next to the, right next to each other. The other one is a whole step, which is skipping a fret. So like any note I pick anywhere, if I say go a whole step up, you skip a fret and go that way. If I said go a whole step down, go like that. Half step down. Half step down. Whole step down. Half step. Whole step down. So you actually can't go a whole step down from the first fret because the lowest note is only a half step lower. Okay? So we've got Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie, and then we've got these things called half steps and whole steps. All right. The next thing is to just say to go from one letter in music to the next letter is a whole step. So if I'm on an A note and I want to go up to a B note, the next letter in the alphabet, it's a whole step up. There's two exceptions to that rule, but let's just start with the basic concept. Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. Half steps and whole steps. To go from one note to another note is a whole step. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to start on the A string because like I said, there's exceptions. But if I just start with the open A and I want to go to the next letter up in the alphabet, which is B, and I said that it's a whole step up, we got to go a whole step up from the open string. So a half step's the next possible note, and a whole step is skipping one. So A, whole step to B. A, B. If I just pick a random note right here, and I'm telling you that note right there is C, but I want to go to the next letter up in the alphabet, which is D, I go a whole step up. That's D now. Now, if I want to go to the next letter up, which is an E, it's a whole step from there. So now that's an E. E, whole step down to D, whole step down to C. Okay? So the basic rule is a whole step between letters. But like I said, there's an exception to the rule, and this is just one thing you're going to have to memorize. The two spots, and if you looked on a piano, you would see there's two spots in the row where there's no black key in between. It's the same thing in all instruments, that there's two spots where it's only a half step between the letters. One is B to C. B to C is only a half step. B to C is only a half step. And then the other one is E to F. So to go from one note to another note is a whole step, except for B to C and E to F. Now if I just kind of get, it's not going to happen overnight, but I'm going to try and memorize that a little bit. Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. Whole steps and half steps. One note to another note's a whole step, except B to C and E to F. So I'm going to say those rules out loud as we kind of see if we can find some notes. For instance, if I said, let's find an A note on this high E string. Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. So our starting point is E. and we want to find an A on that string. We're just going to count up those rules till we get to an A note. High E, and remember I said E to F and B to C, or B to C and E to F are half steps. So if this is an E, it's only a half step to F. So there's our F note. F to G, that's not one of those exceptions, so it should be a whole step. So F to G. So hey, there's a G note. When G's our last note in the musical alphabet before it starts over on A again. So we've got E, half step to F, whole step to G, whole step to A. Let's just keep going up those rules. A to B is a whole step, so A to B. Here's our other exception, B to C. So C is only a half step. E, half step to F, whole step to G, whole step to A, whole step to B. The other exception, B to C, is a half step. So that's a C. C to D is a whole step. D to E is a whole step. The other exception, E to F, is a half step. So E, F. Whole step to G, whole step to A, whole step to B, half step to C, whole step to D, and now I've run out of room. So a D note right there. So let's take this B string, and I said let's find a D note on the B string. We would say, okay, well I'm going to start with open B. B to C is only a half step, so that means C is a half step up from open. So there's C, but we're looking for D. C to D is a whole step. So there is our D note, a whole step up from C. Let's do one more on the D string. I want to find a C note on the D string. I recommend you to pause this video right now and see if you can do it. Alright, so open D. Oops, I was playing a G, sorry. We're trying to find a C note on the D string. So open D. D to E is a whole step, so we have to skip a fret and go to the second fret right there. So we have D, E. Here's the exception. E to F is a half step. F. Whole step to G. Now it starts over to A. Whole step to A. Whole step to B. Half step to C. There's our C note on the D string. It's going to come in really handy because if you want to, let's say I want to play the C blues scale from that note. Really is going to be important. Or let's say a C minor 7 chord from that note. See that? So it's really, really the foundation to get you going. Now, there's one other thing I didn't address. If this note's an F and a whole step to G, F, G, what the heck is that thing in between? Because that's a note. Well, it's one of the black keys on the piano. But what the heck is it? F and G, but there's something in between. Well, it's got two names. It can be considered a G something or an F something, but it's the same thing. And I'm not going to tell you why there's two names for it, but it's down the road. You'll probably figure that out. It has to do with keys and the other notes that are involved in the song and reading music. There's a lot of reasons, but we got F here, we got G there. So we can call it F sharp, or we can call it G flat. And those are the sharps and flats. So to find the sharps and flats, ultimately the quickest way to find sharps and flats is just find the natural note, the regular letter, and then flat means it's going down a half step, and sharp means it's going up a half step. Now think about it. When you drive over a banana peel, when you drive over it, it's behind you. You've left it behind, and it's flat. A knife is pointing forward, and it's sharp. So you always think sharp is when the notes are pointing forward, going up. And flat is when you've left something behind. It's getting lower. It's behind you. It's going down. Okay? So the last step, let's find a B flat on the E string. So E to F's a half step. F to G is a whole step. G to A is a whole step. A to B is a whole step. And what did I say? I said let's find B flat. So I found a B note, and if it's flat, it's a little bit lower. It's been left behind. So B flat is a half step lower than a B. But what would the other name for that be? Whatever note that is, it's sharp. So A sharp or B flat. B flat, A sharp. So A sharp and B flat are the same note. So if I said play me a B flat power chord, you'd find B, go flat, and plug in the power chord. If I said play the B flat pentatonic scale, okay, there's B flat. If I said play a B flat minor chord, if I said play a B flat major 7 chord, it's all related to plugging in those roots. Okay? So you can, obviously watch this video as many times as you need, but you really want this as your foundation to kind of get going. It'll really help you excel faster and take away some of the guessing game. So start with that. Eddie 8 Dynamite, Goodbye Eddie, whole steps and half steps. One note to another note is a whole step, except for 2 spots, which is B to C and E to F. And that's how you plug them in. And then to get a flat or a sharp, you find the natural note and go half step down to make it flat, or a half step up to make it sharp.